Hello, welcome to this video. Thank you so much for tuning in and sharing in this now moment with myself and with one another. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome back if you have. My intention is unity and oneness in the highest levels of love light. I just did a video, I think I'm going to title It's Not About the Galactics, which was just a little sharing of my own personal experience and my own personal journey in some of the things that that I've connected in with over the last year. This is going to be a light language or perhaps message video, so to speak, and I'll get there in just a minute. The reason I wanted to get into this is in my last video, I was just saying we are the avatars. You know, we are the galactics, and oftentimes we forget, and we're so busy looking for things outside of us to fulfill us. But what I also wanted to share in addition to that is it's okay to channel the galactics or connect in with the Akashic record when we were in Andromeda or all of that. And for those who have gotten to that point or find joy in it, that's a completely different situation. The video I did in the last presentation was more for those who are aren't doing the work or have been doing the work and they're just not able to connect in with their galactic family. Because sometimes it's not about that. So that was really my purpose behind that video. And this video is going to be me connecting in with my galactic family, or my highest version of my galactic family that is connected in with all of those versions of me, if that makes sense, that are in full alignment with love light and the highest levels of love light. So I'm going to go into that now. By the way, before I do that, some people call this channeling, some people call it speaking in tongues, some people call it light language. I'm not going into a trance. I'm very aware of what's going on. And from my perspective, it really does feel like what I would imagine Avatar would feel like, by the way. So I just wanted to share that. It's not like I'm tuning into this other, I call it my higher guidance team. I call them my higher guidance team, but they're just me. It's a collective of me and beings who have agreed to assist me on this journey. But I'm tapping into that through my own frequency, by the way. And so that's not, there are some people that do trance channeling and all of that, and that's their cup of tea. That's not what I do. Everybody has their own flavor. And so I honor all of those flavors, right? I just wanted to share because some people tune into this channel so they can learn how to do what I'm doing, or they want to know if they're doing what I'm doing or what somebody else has taught them to do. Anyways. And how do you practice being you? How do you practice connecting in with higher versions of you? For as you walk through this life, you are only you. Yet you take on the many caricatures, and I'm literally seeing like people that draw those caricatures out. Animations, if you will, of versions that you think you might be, or have been, or that you might become. And the reason this message is so clear and what is coming through with such clarity now in this now moment from us to you is for you to recognize that there is a deeper level that many have yet to tap into. And on this journey, this is something that you all have access to. And while we will share with you the mechanics of how to do this at a later date, it is not about the mechanical presentation that we wish to accentuate. It is about being in the flow. The feeling the flow. Igniting the internal flow. And I'm seeing literally a candle or a spark. I'm hearing capacitor switch, so to speak, switching on. And I'm seeing this as getting out of auto drive. A lot of people are on autopilot, auto drive. They're not connecting with their bodies. They're not connecting in with their nervous system. By the way, a great video on this. Check out Andrew Bartz's. He talks about the parasympathetic, the sympathetic, and a lot of the things I've been writing about, I turn his video on, and it's what I wrote down the day before, but he says it oftentimes much more clear and concise level than I do, because I kind of communicate more of a poetic style. That's what I have fun doing. So we must counterbalance that which we have been doing for so long that has taken us off key, out of balance. For this is I'm hearing an eternity of meanderings. As you tune into the energy, the mechanics, if you will, of your energy, and this is reference to your skin suit, your inner technology is what I'm hearing. The body mechanics are your key. And many forget that this is all a combination lock and key system. The most combinations will assist in creating the most openings to what is perceived as locked under key. The languages we provide are merely one portion of the combination of the lock of the key to key into certain memory complexes or certain architectural combinations within your energy field, within our energy field, that assist us in tapping into the energy in your field and feeling into the energies that are in your field. So I'm seeing this as a reference to I'm speaking these languages, and you guys, I'm sorry, I get excited and I yell. So I know you probably have to turn this down a little bit. I'll take it down a notch. Maybe. So what I'm seeing is as I'm tuning into these languages, it's like, oh, click, 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 and it might just help some people to feel something where they go, oh, I never thought of that before, or not even, I'm hearing comprehending what they're feeling, but just feeling it is the key to us quite frequently, and getting out of this concept of conceptualization, having to put it into a compartmentalization. For many of us have put our own compartments in action. Okay, so I'm seeing a reference to like locking things up and saying, okay, this goes here, this goes there, and then we forget about it because we locked it away. Right? We thought, okay, that doesn't work for us right now, or that isn't real. And I'm seeing this in reference to the video that I just did on the galactics, because many people are compartmentalizing certain things as Lumerian and not realizing that that's actually a lifetime, so to speak, on a version of Earth. So they think that it's not earthbound, but it is, but it's not. Beyond that. Or the Lyran frequencies. And as we key into different signs, different signology, technologies that you are recognizing clairvoyantly, clairaudiently as signs and signals, tuning into other aspects that are existent upon these realms that are seemingly inaccessible. Yet they exist. The question becomes, are we patterning? Are we setting up our patterns so that we can expand into a higher beam of technological accessibility, letting go of the resistance that is part of what has kept us under lock and key. We have put ourselves into our own, I'm hearing prison, but this is a prism. So again, I did an earlier, I'm calling it a reading. Sometimes when I do these, it's a collective reading about what's going on in the collective versus an individual reading. And I did this collective reading about the prism. You can go back, I think I posted on Instagram, the prismatic effect, and I posted a prism. And I'm seeing this reference to people are if you use a so I'm seeing if your prism is dirty, not all the light is going to be able to get through. And dirty means we haven't done the work. We have a lot of envy, jealousy, fear, self-doubt, lack of abundance is huge right now. Lack of a false sense of security is coming up too for a lot of people. The false sense of security is putting our security in somebody else to make us feel secure, right? This has been coming up a lot for me in readings on an individual basis as well. And I just want to tap into that briefly, even though I'm kind of going back into the galactic flavor. Is what's happening is people aren't secure in themselves, so they're putting their security in a partner, a spouse, a job, a particular identification. So that's something that's really coming up very strongly in the collective, a certain leader, right? They're not secure in themselves, so they're looking for, I'm hearing, a messiah. And this is a play on words, by the way. A message bringer of hope. Yet we invite you to be your own message bringer of hope and pay attention to the messages that you are bringing to yourself. What are you telling yourself? What are you playing into? What messages are you not receiving from your own higher guidance team, your assistance network that you have come into this world and into this earth fully connected to until the patterns of disruption have created the imbalance in the neurological transmitting of the codes and access point, closing up the nodes, and I'm saying nodes as portals, so to speak, the nodes of knowingness. For as you disconnect from the stream of infinite knowingness, of infinite true knowledge, and plug into an infinitic, this is a play on words, stream of technology, it cuts off this knowingness. Like, people are not able to feel. It's this disconnect. And then they are trying to tune into, I keep using Andromeda because that's part of my flavor, but we'll say the Pleiades, or they're tuning into Arcturus, but they're not able to feel the connection because they are disconnected from their own inner home source technology. It's like they're showing me a motherboard that's all miswired, okay? So I'm just gonna talk about that briefly. Diet, meditation, breath work, movement, journaling, right? I say this all of the time in sessions. But it's different for everybody, and I just want to touch on that briefly. For some people, they need more movement, and they don't necessarily realize it. And this means, by the way, I'm being shown somebody that maybe they exercise all the time. I have had clients who are just like fanatical about exercise, yet they're completely blocked. So they're physically working out, or they know someone that is, right? But that person is technologically so plugged in with the narrative that's being directed at them, or that they're being directed to plug into because of habitual patterns, right? Turning on the TV, following that directive, eating what you see on TV, going out for a run, focusing on what they have to do for the day, never going back to their true charging station, which is the heart, which is the earth, which is the body, which is a flow rather than rigid, robotic movements. For in the rigidity of the physical complex, this can oftentimes lead to a complexity of emotions. And I'm also seeing a complex like protection, like that's they're rigid, and they're leading me back into the concept of not feeling secure in themselves. So they set up this, I'm pretty, I'm buff, I'm strong, I'm powerful, whatever it might be. That's their complex that they exist within. And by the way, it doesn't have to be what they consider. They might be beautiful, right? But they consider themselves to be not beautiful. I've had that happen quite frequently lately. I work with these people, light workers and humans, who I see what they really are, and they have no concept of how beautiful they are and what their energy that they bring to the table and what their gifts are. And how are we able to see that if we're constantly tuning into what somebody else tells us we need to tune into, which is the global narrative, which is the I'm hearing cause and causation. By the way, if I run out of room on here, I apologize. So I'm seeing color. And if you visualize your auric field, and I'm hearing your body is your temple. So if you visualize your temple and it's covered up with all of the stagnant energy of drama, belief, pain, I'm hearing pain body, addictions, other people's crap. I'm seeing like abusive relationships. I'm seeing abuse of technology. So let's say they're constantly surrounded by Wi-Fi, and it's called, I'm seeing it as like static. Oops. And I'm just seeing that they're not cleaning up their fields. They're not, so oftentimes I'll work with someone and I see in their field like this really bright light covered up by just black gunk, for example. Or I'll see it sometimes clairvoyantly, but sometimes I'll feel it and I'll go, ooh, you've got a lot going on in the solar plexus. And then when I go into it, I can see it as just, sometimes it'll be shadows, sometimes it'll be black goo. Other times it'll be literally like spiders. It'll have a shape or a texture to it, which can sometimes be a representation of the energy that they've, I'm hearing that they've harnessed, or that's harnessed them, or that they haven't let go of, they haven't cleansed, they haven't, and it's everything has a texture to it, so to speak. And this is a play on words I'm hearing, texture. I'll have to go into that, maybe type this up. So we invite everybody to look within and really take a moment to do their own diagnostic report, their own analytics, run their own analytics. But this is not based on a linearization or logical preference, because this has been, again, I'm hearing auto-filled. I'm seeing auto-adjusted, auto-brightness. All of this has led to this disconnection of not only your own inner technology, but this disconnection of our own inner technology actually is what connects you to your source frequency pattern and connects you to your, I'm hearing analog versus digital, and I'm also seeing this as a combination, and this turns into your dialogue. So it's like your dial-up is slow, right? The system you're plugged into is analog, but I'm being shown that it's beyond analog, it's beyond digital. It's like we're plugging into this dialogue, and there's a lot more play on this. But what I'm also seeing and inviting everybody to recognize is that this is causing people to not be able to remember who they are. I get a lot of people that don't know, which is fine. We don't always have to know, by the way. That's another video. But what I'm being shown is for those that are like, well, I want to learn about the galactics, or I want to tap into that. That's fine. I'm seeing ET phone home. Like, we are not ET. We are on terrestrials, is what I'm being told, right? We are not extraterrestrial. We are extrasensory beings on planet. Therefore, we are all of those things. Yet if we are not tuning our television, right? Or I'm sorry, I'm saying television, but that's a play on words. Like, I'm seeing an old TV with those antenna, and we're not clearing out our system in order to tune in with that, we're never going to hear it. We're never going to see it. We're never going to feel it, because we're so tuned into this analog system that is telling us, oh, now I see the television, what to see, telling us what to hear, piping in. I'm hearing pipe dreams, like piping in the sound that is programming us of what to listen to, how to feel. All of that. And I'm being kind of just guided just to say really quick, how often have we watched TV? I know this happens sometimes, and I'll go, is this a show for stoners? Because we'll be watching TV and it's like Mountain Dew. And this is a very linear representation, by the way, of what I'm talking about. Pizza, Taco Bell, and then prescription drugs about inflammation. Now, by the way, I'm not knocking and saying that if somebody needs it. I'm just saying that there is a direct correlation here. If we're eating pizza, we're drinking Coca-Cola, Mountain Dew, and we are then following it up with the Snickers bar to help curb that craving, we're going to be inflamed. And we're going to have rashes and breakouts more frequently, which then makes us need that prescription for inflammation. Now, of course, there are those people that are very healthy and still have inflammation, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm showing that this is a program that we've become addicted to, and it's a conscious choice to tune into these programs, but it's a subconscious coding that's going on behind the scenes. And I'm seeing us as, our brains are technology, our bodies are technology. And so all that has to be done is the right, I'm hearing plug in, and boom, they got us. But what I'm also being shown is we are above and beyond all of that. That is only one truth. That isn't the truth. Once we've accessed our full potential, or a fuller potential than what we are in the conscious habit pattern of making and connecting and accessing into, once we up the ante, so to speak, which many of us have, and all of us have to a certain extent, once we continue to do that, it is harder and harder for that charge to charge us. It doesn't pull us in anymore, and therefore it becomes I'm hearing an old nomenclature. I'm hearing numb in culture, and that's a whole other can of worms. It no longer pulls us in anymore. We're awake, we're aware. Just like me watching those commercials, I'm not just robotically picking up the chocolate. Sometimes I am, but, I catch myself going, do I really want chocolate right now? Or is it just because I just saw a Snickers commercial and I remembered that I had a chocolate bar in my cupboard? So it's being conscious of our decisions and our choices, and that breaks the synapse, is what I'm hearing. And I'm hearing it snaps us out of this numbness that many of us have been plugged into. So we invite you to see that you are tapping into a seed point in every choice and conscious decision that you make. However, being unconscious about it is no longer an option for those that seek. I'm hearing a word, I just don't know how to break it down. Reprimands, not reprimands. Like people are seeking, not retribution. I don't know why this word is eluding me, but we'll come back to that. Like seeking, people are looking for more juice. They're looking for what's owed to them to come. It's like winning like winning a court case. It's like, okay, well, I'm waiting for that to come to me. I won, but they haven't done the due diligence in order to win the court case. I guess that's a very poor example is what I'm being shown. We can do better than that. So let's, and this is also a play on words. We could do better than that. It's not just somebody owes us something. We have to do the work in order to show that what's being done to us, theoretically, again, it's that victim, victimizer, controller thing. We're allowing it by supporting it, by going out and purchasing those products, by not taking care of our bodies, by feeding the system that is feeding us with empty promises, empty calories, empty so on and so forth. And what I'm being shown is getting to the heart of the matter is what is key. We cannot plug into the heart if we're unable to access these little potentials, because it literally does create a disconnect from here. So here we're here and we're not communicating from a higher perspective. We're not thinking in through the heart, right, from a higher perspective. And it isn't this level, it's this. That's higher, expansive. So we invite you to practice keying in your own codes, keying in to, tapping into your own technological home base that allows you to give value back to you, that allows you to give value to the systems that you seek to create, that allows you to devalue those systems that are seeking to uncreate you, giving us a false sense of victory, a false sense of instant gratification that is literally seeking to gratify. I'm hearing ratify, like this is all a play on words. I'm seeing okay, so this is another, and I'll have to type this up. Oh, I think I'm running out of battery. Symbolic. Stop feeding into these systems that are depleting our juices and our energy. So basically we have to create our own gravity by being our own system and stop pulling into these false gravitational pulls. And we're going to end on this note because I'm running out of steam. Stop feeding into what has been giving us a false sense of security. For this security has kept us in a maximum security prismatic effect that has been creating an elusive veil and has veiled our own ability to be our own prism and has kept our technology from operating at its pristine and right placed. So it's kept us from being in the right place at the right time. It's kept us, things keep eluding us because it's dirty. And this is not necessarily literal, but spiritually it's not clean. It isn't pure, is what I'm being shown. Our heart is pure, our inner child. We don't have to dirty it with things like judgment, false beliefs, all of that stuff. Okay, so I'm going to end on that note. In love and light, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And until the next time, namaste.